pimp my, at this level? Because I can't do that, I can be like, pimp my, because then it's like, so in this series, there are 2 rules. Number 1, I get an existing convenience product. And number 2, I have to make it better. So what have I been given? One of my guilty pleasures, potato gems. Now, before you laugh and say, oh gosh, that's so weird. It's like you're allowed to have fun with food. These are delicious. There's nothing wrong with eating these every now and again. There are sometimes food if you're a parent to your kids. But I'm gonna now take these and twist them a bit and turn them into a gratin, or is it French? It's French. Gratin dauphinois lait potato gem gratin. So we're going to pimp these, make them better. It's not going to be healthy, but they're going to be delicious. Okay, start. Still going. Are we rolling? Okay, I'm just sharpening my knife because I didn't do it before. So we're going to start off with some leek and onion. So potatoes love onions. They also love leeks. Always split it down the middle. And so the reason I'm halving them, you'll see here, there's little bits of dirt, and we don't want to cook with that because it's going to be really gritty. So I'm going to take these and just run them under the tap, and then that way all the water is just going to get rid of it, and then we can chop them up. And now we're just going to slice these as thickly or as thinly as you can. I got the pan on medium heat, and I'm going to cook these down in some butter. Actually, also always a good idea whenever you're cooking with butter, a bit of oil. Liz, could I borrow some oil? Thank you. Bit of extra virgin oil, and that's just going to help make sure that the butter doesn't burn too quickly. Okay, so the butter's doing its thing, it's sizzling, so we can go in with the onions and leek. And we want to cook this slowly and gently. We just want it to stew down and get all that flavor. We're going to go in with some parsley. We're going to use the stalks, and it's going to give a really nice savory flavor as well. And then whenever cooking onions and you're trying to stew them down, I'd always salt them, because that way it's going to draw out the moisture. And then a bit of pepper as well. You know, probably 10 minutes until it's really cooked down and stewed, but not browning yet. Okay, so we have time now while that cooks down, so we can get onto our potato gems, also known as tater tots, and what's the other word? Potato pomme noisette and potato pom-poms. I've never heard that one before. I've got the oven preheated to 200, and we're going to go in with the potato gems just on a tray. And the reason I'm cooking them a bit before is we are going to be putting them inside the gratin, and we're going to be going back in the oven. But now you can see they're kind of pale, and they aren't really giving off any flavor, any crunch, or when you're doing anything other than being a raw potato. So by putting them in the oven now, they're going to get nice and golden. Then we can layer them in. That way everyone getting a scoop is going to have golden potato, because there's no point in having a potato gem that's not golden. It's like a fish without water. Is that... I actually couldn't think of it. Okay, these go in the oven. I was trying to think of something more intelligent. So these have cooked down nicely and are almost there. So what I'm going to do now, just to pump up that flavor even more, is some garlic and thyme. Time after time. Pull those leaves off. Now to save time, I'm going to be chopping the garlic at the same time. Yep, that only took a few minutes. I'm using 4 small cloves of garlic here. If you've got big cloves of garlic, only use 2. So just moderate that and then merge it in with the thyme. And so we only want to cook that garlic and thyme for like a minute. As a force of habit, I never cook garlic and onion or anything at the same time, because garlic burns way quicker and just becomes bitter and not fragrant anymore. So gently cook that down, about a minute. And we're going to go in with some nutmeg. I much prefer using freshly grated nutmeg as well, and just finely grate some over. And I've got some bay leaves in here as well, just chuck them in. And this is us creating our milk and cream base, and we're doing it all in the same pan. So I've got some milk and then cream. And the reason I'm using both is that if we use just all cream, it'd be too rich and it could split and become all fatty. If we just use just milk, it wouldn't be rich enough. So a 50-50 split between milk and cream is kind of usually what you'd use in a gratin or gratin. I just don't know, like, how are we gonna say this? If I say gratin, I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but. And if you have a block of Parmesan, I'm just gonna use the rind and cut it off and put into the cream mixture as well, and it's gonna infuse with all the flavor. Let that just simmer for about 10 minutes, just so the flavors can infuse. So it's been about 10 minutes now, and you can see this cream mixture is really nice and thick. And we want it to be thick so those potato gems can stand up in it and not sink to the bottom. I'm just going to do some retrieval now. That Parmesan has done its job, so find that Parmesan rind and we can get rid of it. It's given off all that umami flavor, and also the bay leaves, get rid of those. And now, as if gems aren't rich enough, we've got 2 cheeses to make it even richer. So I'm going to put the Parmesan in first, just so that forms part of the cream sauce, and just stir that through. If you're jogging and on a diet, don't eat this. But you know, we can have some fun with food. It's okay, you're allowed to. It's about balance. Turn that off, and loose. Are those gems ready? Go. Right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to layer them all into this cream mixture. And I want it to stand up, because that way there's going to be like half the cream is going to come up the gem, and they're going to kind of stick out the top, and that's going to get all golden with even more cheese. Now try and squash in those last few. If you can't find a space, they are really good. So as if that wasn't indulgent enough, we've got a second type of cheese. So I'm using some Gruyere, and just dot that over in some clumps, and this is going to give it its beautiful golden topping. Just a bit of paprika to give it some smokiness. So finally going to create a bit of a tent, and with the foil I don't want it to touch the cheese, so I'm going to really do it loosely around it and kind of create a bit of a mound, and that way it's not going to touch the cheese, but it's not going to burn too quickly either. So I've got the oven at 200, and we're going to go in for about 20 minutes, then we'll whip the foil off and then let it go really nice and golden. So it should be bubbling. It is. Get rid of that foil, and we're going to go back in the oven for about 15 minutes, and we want all that cheese to get beautiful and golden. Okay, I think it's ready. Yep. All it needs now is a little bit of cracked pepper. And there it is. We've certainly pimped potato gems. I think we've made them a bit better, even though they were good to start with. The only thing is this should definitely come with a health warning. It's indulgent, it's not your everyday food, but definitely something you should enjoy. The test, Lucy? Honest opinion, honest opinion. Look at that cheese. Okay, everyone else taste. This is crew tasting now. Get in.
I go again.
Hot. So for this recipe, head to delicious.com.au, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and let us know what else you want us to pimp.